Hello students, welcome. Today the topic is plant kingdom for class 11 CBSE. Plant kingdom, so many plants, enormous numbers of plants all over the world. So how to classify them? Earlier, scientists did what? They classified them on the basis of their colors, the numbers, and the types of leaves, and also the structure of androecium. But these were not the natural classification, these were artificial, so they were not accepted wholly. And scientists kept on working on this, and they came out with more scientific, natural systems of classification, that is phylogenetic system of classification. And they actually took certain factors like your internal and external factors, also the anatomy and the photochemical factors like light reactions and chemical reactions and etc. The relation with light and the chemical reactions, and also the embryological factors, the growth of embryo and all this, the pattern in which these developments are taking place. So they took all these into consideration for the classification of plants. So they also, use the this thing figures and numbers for this type of classification. In this type of classification, and they were numerical. They were actually the numerical taxonomy. So numerical taxonomy means all these figures were taken as data, and then the classification was done. And then your cytotaxonomy was also done, which was related to the characteristics, the structures, and the information about the cells and tissues of the plants. And then chemotaxonomy was also used. Chemotaxonomy means the chemical constituents of the cells of the different plants. So these factors were taken and classification was done. So this classification was scientific and was accepted worldwide. And according to this, there were certain groups. Plant kingdom was classified into certain groups. They are the algae, and then your bryophyta, then pteridophyta, then gymnosperm, and then angiosperm. Actually, this algae, which is the smallest plant, it was kept earlier in thallophyta. We used to learn about these groups when we used to also learn about thallophyta as a group. Thallophyta, pteridophyta, bryophyta. So, or thallophyta, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperm, angiosperm. But now the algae has been separated, and it is now algae as a group. And then comes your bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperm, angiosperm. So algae, what are they? You see greens come, a mass of greens come in the ponds, small rivers. So what are they? They are all green algae. So their size and shape varies enormously. They can be in colonies, like in volvox. They can be, in filaments, as in Spirogera, in the shape of filaments. So these are the common shapes of algae. They can be in symbiosis with fungi also. So these are the types and habitat. All these rocks, mountains, all these places, moist places, algae are found. And you can just make some points that ranging from colonies, as I said, from forms like volvox and filamentous like in Spirogera. And they occur in all these variety of other habitats. They have variety of other habitats, and their main habitat is what? They can be aquatic, They're both freshwater and marine. They can be both freshwater and marine. And they occur in other habitats also, moist stone, soils, wood, etc. So this I mentioned. So aquatic, most also marine. Aquatic means both freshwater and marine. Aquatic means water that can be freshwater and marine, both the habitat of algae. Now, the reproduction in algae can be asexual, can be sexual also. These are the main features I am just narrating. So, asexual mode takes place by zoospores, you all know, in the lower organisms we have studied, in fungi, etc. So, zoospores give rise to new algae. And sexual reproduction takes place by gametes, male gamete and female gamete. This also you know. So male gametes can be similar, can be dissimilar also. The non-motile similar gametes. The examples are, which are the examples of similar gametes? Isogamous. So they are found in, these gametes can be flagellated and similar. If they are flagellated and similar in size, like in elothrix, they are flagellated and similar in size. Or non-flagellated but still similar in size, their fusion is called isogamy, right? And fusion of two gametes dissimilar. They are not similar if that is taking place. Dissimilar in size, as in the species of Eudorina. In the species of Eudorina, these names you have to remember, students. The gametes are what? The gametes are fusing, but they are dissimilar in size. Dissimilar in size, as in species of Eudorina, is termed as anisogamous. And then if the condition is like the female gamete is big and it is non-motile, and the male gamete is small, it is motile, then this is oogamous. The fusion is oogamous. So this takes place in volvox or fucus. And non-flagellated, non-motile but similar gametes, if there is there, that is example is Pyrogala, which is called isogamous. The fusion is called isogamous. So now, students, the algae part, you have to study about the types of algae. So what are the types? Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae, a big name, but these names are very big, but the meaning is very small. The Chlorophyceae means it is containing chlorophyll, so it is green algae. Chlorophyceae means green algae. Phaeophyceae means brown algae, and Rhodophyceae means red algae. So, on the basis of certain factors, they have been classified. So, what are those factors? Those are the pigment they are containing, the cell wall constitution, how the cell wall is made up of, the number of flagella, position of flagella, and the habitat. So first comes Chlorophyceae, that is green algae. So what is the pigment here? Chlorophyll A and B. How many types of chlorophyll are there? 9. And which are the most commonly found? Chlorophyll A and B. So here it is there. It is like other eukaryotic green plants. Chlorophyll A and B is there. Cell wall is made up of cellulose. In green algae, cellulose is the constituent of cell wall. Flagella, they are apical in position, and they are 2 to 8. Flagella is there in green algae. Clear? What is the habitat? Salt water, the salt water and the fresh water, As I said earlier, salt water, fresh water, and this backwash water, this brackish water they are saying, brackish water, salt water, and fresh water. All these water types of habitat is there. So you have to remember this. And when we come to this brown algae, Phaeophyceae, so what is the pigment here? What is it is called? It is brown algae. What is the pigment here? It is chlorophyll A and C, and the other pigment is fluoroxanthine. Fucoxanthine. Other pigment is fucoxanthine. Fucoxanthine. So you see, it is containing chlorophyll. It does not mean that it is looking brown or red. That does not contain chlorophyll. It is containing chlorophyll, but other pigments also. Other pigments are more than chlorophyll. That is why they are not looking green. They are looking some different color. So here brown algae is having chlorophyll A and C, and also fucoxanthine, the other pigment. And cell wall is made up of what? Cell wall is made up of the cellulose and algin. Cellulose and algin. And what are the number of flagella? It is just 2 unequal. And green algae had equal 2 to 8 and apical flagella. But here it is just 2 unequal, and the position is lateral. This thing is habitat is same: fresh water, salt water, and your brackish water. So this is same. And in brown algae, what is happening? Rhodophyceae. Brown algae we have seen. This is Phaeophyceae. Brown algae we just saw. And now what is left? It is the Rhodophyceae. That is the red algae. So Rhodophyceae is commonly known as red algae. What is the pigment here? The pigment is chlorophyll A and D, and the other pigment here is phycoerythrin. So this is the pigment, other pigment with chlorophyll A and D. And now the composition of cell wall. The cell wall is made up of what is the type of food stored here? It is the starch. Of course, fluoridine starch in red algae. So this factor I left, student. What is the food stored? In green algae, in chlorophyceae, the food stored is starch. In brown algae, that is Phaeophyceae, the food stored is mannitol and laminarin. So you see, these are the types of starch they are storing. And in red algae, the food stored is fluoridine starch. Apart from this, I have discussed all the other factors. And in cell wall composition in red algae, what is the composition? Cellulose, pectin, and some ester, polysulfate esters. Polysulfate esters are there. Cellulose is there, pectin is there in the composition of cell wall. And flagella, there is no flagella in red algae. Always remember, flagellated algae are only in Chlorophyceae and Phaeophyceae, that is the green algae and the brown algae. Red algae, there is no flagella. So they are non-motile, and the habitat is same: fresh water, salt water, and also brackish water. So this is the information regarding algae, the types of algae. So I will not lengthen this video anymore. In the next videos I will come with other portion of this chapter, the other groups which are left. So keep well and take interest in your studies. That only I can say. And goodbye, and wish you all the best.